So let's look at question number 13. It's on straight line graphs, and let's read it first things first, right? So the straight line L1 passes through the points with coordinates 4, 6, and 12, 2. Straight line L2 passes through the origin and has a gradient of -3. The lines L1 and L2 intersect at point P. We want to find the coordinates of P. So this is a 4-mark question. Yes, I know, Cooper, I dislike this as well. Okay, but we have to do it. So let's first of all figure out the equations of these lines, because we know that if we solve equations simultaneously, what we're working out is the x and the y coordinates of the point of intersection of those two graphs. So I'm going to start with L1 and I'm going to do my calculations. So the gradient of L1 is equal to, again, we're doing difference in y over difference in x. So I'm going to subtract the y coordinates and I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to do 6 take away 2 and I'm going to subtract the x coordinates. So 4 take away 12. Let's see what we've got here. So I'm getting 4 over -8, is it? Like that. If I simplify this, it's going to be -1/2. So this is the gradient of L1. Now I can choose either of the 2 points that I know are on L1 to work out the full equation. So I'm going to choose the first point, 4, 6, because it seems like it's smaller numbers. You can choose whichever one you want. And I'm going to write out my y equals to mx plus c. And I'm also going to do my list. So I know that x equals to 4, y equals to 6, and m equals to -1/2. I do my substitution. So I'm getting that 6 is equal to 4 times -1/2 plus c. I've substituted. If I simplify this, I'm going to get 6 equals to -2 at c. So I'm getting that c is equal to +8. So the equation of the first line, 1, is y equals to -1/2 x add 8. So this is one of the equations I'm going to need. Remember, we're solving simultaneously. And then L2, I need an equation for this one as well. So if it passes through the origin, this means the intercept is going to be 0. So that means we don't have to mention it. And the gradient is just a number in front of the x. So the equation of the second line of L2 is nice and easy because it's just y is equal to gradient, which is -3x. And then the intercept is 0, but I don't need to mention it. So this is it. Y equals to -3x is the equation of the second line. We said we're going to have to solve these simultaneously. So you guys notice that y can be equal to -1/2x plus 8. Y can also be equal to -3x. So if both these expressions in terms of x are ways of describing y, we can make them equal to each other. So that's the reason why I can say that -3x is equal to -1/2x plus 8, because they're both y equals to y. So let's add things up. Rather, let's solve this equation. So I'm adding half on both sides, and I'm getting -2.5x equals to 8. And then I've got x is equal to 8. I'm dividing now this -2.5. I'm going to turn it into a fraction because I don't really fancy dividing by decimals. So it's going to be divided by -5/2. That's the fractional equivalent. Now remember, we keep change flip. So we keep the 8, change the sign, the division sign to multiplication, flip the fraction, but keep the minus sign. So we get this. So then x is equal to 8 times 2 is 16. Copy the denominator, copy the minus because minus times plus is minus. So this is the x coordinate. It looks a bit yuck, but I did check the mark scheme. I tried this one before, and I when I got this answer, I was like, what? But I checked the mark scheme, and we're definitely right. So we're not done yet because we need to work out the y. As you notice, if I go a bit lower, your answer line is a coordinate, which we have to give in terms of x and y. So let's do y now. So y equals to, I now know x is equals to minus 16 over 5, but I also know I'm choosing the second equation. So the equation for line 2, and I know y is equals to minus 3 times minus 16 over 5. So minus times minus is a plus. I know my final answer is going to be a positive number. 16 times 3, I'm getting it 48. Yeah, so it's 48, and denominator stays the same. So that's my y. So my answer on the answer line, obviously, I'm not going to scroll down for that. I'm just going to write it here. My answer is minus 16. I say 16 and I write 15. So minus 16 over 5 and 48 over 5 is the y coordinate I got. Okay, there you go. So I owe you some more clips on Hegarty clips. I'm gonna see what the logistics are of doing that, and hopefully I'll be able to do a few more in the next few days. I'll see you later. Bye.